How's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another review of Pokemon Journeys. Today we're going to be covering episode 44, or part 3, of the Sword and Shield arc. And, this continues the story, and Eternatus wakes up in this episode. There's a lot that happened in this episode as well, so we'll get into that in just a minute. Anyways, if you like this type of content and you're new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I cover this series on a weekly basis, or whenever the episodes come out. Anyways, let's get on to that review, shall we? So the episode begins with Go facing off against Bootleg Giovanni over here in his Gigantamax Garbodor. And Go pretty much handles his Pokemon like it's nothing. He fell over, but yeah, Reboot didn't really take any damage and took out this Pokemon. And this guy almost got crushed. I'm surprised Go almost got crushed as well. He's like standing in front of Reboot and he's not scared. I'd be a little freaked out with my Pokemon right there. But anyways, this guy's like, yeah, I'm not getting crushed, so I'm out of here. You guys will regret this. So Go and Sonia, they go and they investigate the statues, and they realize that the two heroes were accompanied by two doggos, and their names are engraved on the statues. And yep, we know the names of the doggos now. And Go actually realizes that he came across a similar Pokemon at the Slumbering Weald. So he's like, yeah, we should probably head back there, because we might find a hint about the Darkest Day. Anyways, there's a bunch of Bootleg Giovannis that come after Go and Sonia, and Go's like, you know what we do in these situations? Just charge right through them. And he does just that. These guys don't even try to pull out their Pokemon in time. He just charges right through. And Go and Sonia are out of there. Meanwhile, we have Leon, who suspects Rose is up to something, so he heads to Hammerlock and goes to the place that Rose is hiding Eternatus, and I like how he just like walks right through. The worker that's right there is like, oh, you need Chairman Rose's permission. And Leon's like, yeah, I already have his permission, and I'm just gonna go. He just walks right in there, and everyone's freaking out. They're like, what are you doing here? He's like, you have literally no means of controlling this Pokemon. Yeah, you're gonna need somebody here that can actually do something. But anyways, we move on to Ash, who's actually leaving Winden. And he even thinks about Chairman Rose, what he was apparently said over dinner. It was like, oh, I look to the future of Galar. 1,000 years into the future, and Ash is over here like, wow, I can't believe somebody is thinking that far into the future. So one thing I like about this arc is Ash and Go communicating with one another, which they do in this moment, because Ash is heading off to find Go and Sonia, but obviously they've left at this point. And Go tells Ash, yeah, we're doing some investigating. Hey, when you were in the Slumbering Weald when we got separated, did you come across a dog-like Pokemon? And Ash is like, yeah. So he reveals the names of the Pokemon. So, yeah, Go and Sonia, they're doing some research. Well, Ash actually spots, more Galarian particles shooting out from Hammerlock over here, and he heads over to investigate. While Ash witnesses this, Leon over here witnesses what's going on. Eternatus literally breaking out of its little spear-like cage here. Team Rocket's over here like, yes, the most evil and powerful Pokemon, it's here. And as soon as Eternatus breaks out, it basically blasts Team Rocket up through the stadium. Yeah, and Eternatus over here, he's not too happy, and he breaks up through the ceiling, and he's up in the stadium area. And Team Rocket come to, and they're like, oh, I guess it's time for us to capture this Pokemon. So Team Rocket tries to capture Eternatus, which clearly fails. And it shoots a Galarian particle that hits Meowth, and it causes Meowth to Gigantamax and go wild, and starts attacking Team Rocket. And they end up running out of the stadium, and Ash actually catches Team Rocket running out. He's like, you guys, what are you guys doing here? Like, Meowth went crazy and Dynamax. Do something, kid. Even Ash over here is surprised. The scene shifts over to Go and Sonia. They made it to the Slumbering Weald, in which they're trying to seek out the legendary Pokemon. But before they do that, Sonia gets a notification on her Rotom phone. There's a live broadcast going on in Hammerlock, and stuff's going down because, the Darkest Day is happening once again. And these news reporters are trying to figure out what's going on. They see that there's a Pokemon that's Gigantamax, which is Meowth. And Ash is actually shown on TV, and Go sees him. And they recognize that, oh crap, the Darkest Day is happening, and as the news reporters get close up to Eternatus, it seemingly blasts them. I don't think the helicopter actually got blasted and destroyed. I believe they just the TV broadcast got interrupted. That'd be kind of morbid if they actually got blown out of the sky and died. But anyways, Go and Sonya realize that, yeah, the Galar region is in major danger of being wiped out again. So they call out to the legendary doggos and beg for them to help, and they instantly show up, and they basically lead Go and Sonya to the altar of the Sword and Shield, or the doggo's altar. And that's when Go notices the rusted sword and shield down on the altar. And he decides to take it with them, because it could come in handy to stop the darkest day. Smart idea, Go. So back to Ash. So unfortunately, Dragonite gets taken out by Eternatus, which sucks, but, you know, Dragonite served its purpose in this arc. So what can you do? Anyways, Ash is at the Hammerlock Stadium, and Leon shows up, and that's when they are confronted by none other than Chairman Rose. And this was a very interesting scene. So, Rose here, his anime counterpart is very similar to his game counterpart. So, the whole reason why he's doing all this, he reveals that, yep, I'm behind all this. But I have good reasons for doing this. You see, Galar is going to have an upcoming energy crisis, and it's going to run out of its resources. So, I've been looking for a way around this. And you know what? My answer is Eternatus. Because Eternatus has infinite energy, and its Galarian particles would fuel Galar for the future, and ensure that this region has infinite sources forever. An interesting part here is that we actually get some backstory for Chairman Rose, and we find out when he was a kid, his father was a miner in Galar, in the Galar mines. And unfortunately, there was an accident one day, and his father presumably died in a mining accident. So he lost his father at a young age. And he doesn't want anybody to suffer the same tragedy that he had to go through. Which is kind of ironic considering because of what he's doing, he's causing all these Pokemon to, you know, Dynamax, Gigantamax, and Rampage. So, you know, you're causing chaos and potentially killing people in Pokemon. So, dude, you're kind of a hypocrite. But anyways, Chairman Rose's ultimate goal is to control Eternatus. So how does he do that? It's easy. He basically takes talented trainers under his wing, like Leon, and basically he wants these trainers to go up against Eternatus and potentially capture this Pokemon. So his ultimate goal with Leon, he made him the champion so that he could capture Eternatus one day and basically use Leon to capture this Pokemon, and then have Leon supply Eternatus to him for infinite energy for the future of Galar. So he's using Leon. This whole time he's been using Leon. And Leon counters this. He's like, you know what? I will capture this Pokemon. I will capture Eternatus. However, you're not going to use it. I'm going to seal this Pokemon away and make sure it never causes any harm to anybody ever again. So that's very good of you, Leon. Very noble of you. And while Chairman Rose is talking to Ash and Leon, Eternatus over here is trying to break out. And it turns out that the audience barrier is actually holding it back. Which it holds it back for quite a while before it eventually breaks out. And so this forces Leon to pursue after it. However, Chairman Rose isn't letting Ash go. So it seems like I was right. So Chairman Rose over here is a little salty at Ash. And again, as I said in the last episode review, yeah, Chairman Rose, as revealed in the previous episode, he'll stop at nothing to accomplish his goals. So one of his goals was to take Ash under his wing. And Ash turned him down. So it seems like Chairman Rose over here is a little salty. And Ash ain't gonna, take any of that. He's not letting him get his way and causing harm to the people of Galar and people in Pokemon of Galar. So Chairman Rose brings out his, Copper Jaw, and he also has a Ferrothorn, and Ash takes out Riolu. So we're gonna have a double battle between Ash and Chairman Rose, which is pretty cool. Lastly, Go and Sonya actually make it to Hammerlock, and they're right at the energy plant, and there's just a bunch of bootleg Giovannis hanging out there. And just like what Go did earlier in the episode, when he told Sonya, yeah, sometimes you got breakthrough. Yeah, she kind of does the same thing, but this time with the car. A little dangerous, Sonya. Gotta, learn how to control your lead-foot behavior. Anyways, Go manages to get into the energy plant, whereas Sonya's like, you know what, I'm going to take on all these bootleg Giovannis. And she doesn't take out her Pokemon, but yeah, she's in kind of a bit of a situation here, and they all take out their Pokemon. That's when Raihan shows up and he starts simping for Sonya over here. I mean, because who wouldn't? But anyways, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to let a pretty lady, face off against all these guys. Not only that, I'm the gym leader, so it'd be a disgrace if I didn't, step in to try and take out these guys. So, yeah, Raihan's going to show up and, wipe out the bootleg Giovannis for Sonya. So, pretty cool scene. Go then runs into the energy plant, and then he runs into Orleana. And she pretty much reveals that, yeah, so you're the one that was hanging out with Sonya earlier. And he puts the pieces together and realizes that, yeah, she's the one that's been ordering those guys to head off after them, and try and take them out. And over here she's like, yeah, that was me, but you know what? You're in the way. I will not let you disrupt Chairman Rose's plans because his goals are my goals. So, yeah, I'm going to take you out. So, she's basically acting like exactly how she acted in the games when you tried to confront Chairman Rose towards the end of the game. So yeah, the episode comes in here with Ash facing off against Chairman Rose in the next episode, and Go facing off against Orleana in the next episode. Okay, so let's start with the positives. So again, I like the fact that this arc is very faithful to the source material. Like, obviously different things are going on, but I like that it's reflecting on how the game story was done. So I do like how the anime is handling it. It's being done in a slightly different way, but I like it. I still like the duo aspect of, Ash's story and Go's story are separate in this arc. But they're eventually going to come together in the next episode to face off against Eternatus in the darkest day. So I really like how everything is flowing together. Another thing that I do like is the fact that Chairman Rose and Orleana, they're very similar to their game counterparts, but we do get a little more background on Chairman Rose and kind of, why he's doing the things he's doing. And I also like that little touch with his, what happened to his father in the past, and it adds a little bit more depth to his character, so I thought that was all pretty nice. Oh, and I also want to mention that Eternatus trying to break out of the Hammerlock Stadium, and the audience barrier is actually holding them back. I thought that was actually pretty clever, considering, the audience barrier was used in earlier episodes, and I like how that was actually preventing Eternatus originally from escaping before it eventually broke its way out. So I thought that was pretty neat that they kind of threw that in there. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, I have a couple of issues with this episode. So unlike the first two episodes, I felt like this one was oddly paced. And what I mean is there were parts of this episode that felt kind of slow and a bit boring, whereas other parts in this episode felt really fast-paced, and it felt like they were rushing certain things. Like, for example, Gigantamax Meowth, it kind of happened, and there was a very small conflict with it in this episode, and that was pretty much it, and we kind of brushed that aside. I mean, it's still going on, but it kind of just felt like, it's like, okay, this happened, now we're moving on. You know what I mean? There's just so much stuff going on. There's so much crammed in this episode, and unfortunately, again, some parts feel kind of slow and some parts feel really rushed. So it's making me a bit nervous for this finale. I'm hoping this ending is not a rushed ending. But, I'm just hoping maybe that with this episode they rushed some of those elements in here. So that next week's episode can be, a satisfying conclusion to this arc. This is more of a consequence to the lack of build-up going into this arc. But one thing that I was mildly disappointed with that carried on from this episode is Leon and Chairman Rose's relationship. And what I mean is, in the previous episode, Leon introduces Ash to Chairman Rose. He's like, yeah, this is Chairman Rose. This guy took me under his wing and mentored me. And look at me now. I'm the champion of the world. I'm the strongest trainer. And then, in the same episode, in the same scene, he starts becoming suspicious of Leon. And his suspicions come true. And then the very next episode, Chairman Rose is like, oh yeah, by the way, Leon, I seek out talented trainers so they can do my bidding, ha ha ha. And you're going to do my bidding now by capturing Eternatus. So, again, it's more of a consequence to the lack of build-up going to this arc, because if there was build-up to this moment, there'd be more weight. We'd understand these characters and understand their history with one another. And unfortunately, we're getting it spoon-fed to us in just these two episodes. So unfortunately, it just feels a bit unsatisfying. Like, I get to this point, it's like, oh, okay. So they had a relationship, and now it's, Leon realizes, Chairman Rose's true intentions and his true nature in the span of just these 2 episodes. So, unfortunately, I feel like this was handled a bit poorly, in my opinion. Lastly, and I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me or not, but in my opinion, CGI Eternatus looks really out of place in this arc. It just doesn't really match up very well with its surroundings. And I mean, I see what they're going for, but it didn't really work out so much in this episode. So I'm hoping in the next episode it looks better. Maybe when it goes into its Gigantamax or its darkest day form, as I call it, it looks a little better. But I don't know. I'm just a bit off-put by Eternatus as a CGI design, or being in CGI, I should say. And that's pretty much all I got for this review. So I felt that compared to the last 2 episodes, this episode was more decent to kind of good. So I'm going to give this episode a 6.5 out of 10. So unfortunately, this episode slumps down a bit. So I'm hoping that this finale, it lands. I don't want another Necrozma arc, where it started out really good and then the ending was doo-doo. Anyways, guys, what do you think of this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and also hit that notification bell. And I'll talk to you all later. You all stay safe out there and have a great day or night wherever you're at. See ya!